Hello and welcome to the Diski Preview Show. My name is Mo and this is Mr. E. And as usual, we've got you with 5 matches you should definitely add to your bet slip coming this weekend. We're going to go straight into some of the local action, including CAF Champions League, DSTV Premiership, and we also want to look at what's happening out there in England with the 2 games coming out of the Premier League. Without wasting a second of your time, let's get started. Welcome back to the Diski Preview Show. It's time for us to talk all things local football. By local, we mean the continent. And obviously, you saw the match that took place yesterday. There's a big one coming up today, which is going to be Wydad taking on Mamelodi Sundowns. Now, from all the opinions that we've gotten about this tournament, it's now come to the semi-finals. You know, the discussions about who might win it are getting stronger and stronger because there's only 4 teams in it left. So Wydad Casablanca taking on Mamelodi Sundowns is taking place on the 13th of May 2023 at 9 p.m. Mr. E,
yes.
What are your thoughts?
I think today at 9 p.m. The whole continent is going to come to a standstill. Everything is going to stop. I think it's the biggest highlight of African football tonight when Wydad comes across Sundowns. So it's going to be something else. I think Sundowns will be attempting to stop Wydad in its tracks. Remember, they are the current holders of the Champions League Cup. Yeah. So it's going to be happening today at 9 o'clock.
It's going to be a big one. I mean, if you think about where Wydad were just at the start of this campaign of the CAF Champions League, they were still playing in the FIFA Club World Cup alongside Al Ahly. And they were the other side that had to come and play catch-up games to be able to play this tournament. But win probability sits in favor of Wydad Casablanca at 50%, which will shock most South Africans who've been following this tournament. 30% for the draw and only 20% for Mamelodi Sundowns to win it. Why is that, Mr. E?
Well, you see, one thing that we have to take a look at is Mamelodi Sundowns' previous games, whereby they have lost a couple of matches, especially after clinching the DSTV Premiership Cup. So that's how we have predicted that Wydad is going to take away this one. Is going to win, and yet again, it's always been a bogey side for Sundowns over the years. Yeah, I think the game being played at is it Mohammed V Stadium?
Yeah, Mohammed V.
Sundowns has never won a game there.
Wow.
It has never won a game there. So if they do manage to pick up a win today, it's going to be the first time that they're doing that. So Wydad has got an upper hand coming into this match here.
Well, that's true. Right now, if we talk about the stats, and let's start off with the form, it says here that Mamelodi Sundowns have 71% form, while Wydad have 79% form, meaning that Mamelodi Sundowns have only drew once in their last 5 matches. So 1 draw in their last 5 matches with only 4 wins there. And for Wydad, their form is inconsistent. They have a loss, win, draw, win, which kind of puts them in a light where you might think that there might be an opportunity for Mamelodi Sundowns to do something about them. Mamelodi Sundowns have scored a goal in every single one of their last 7 games, while for Wydad Casablanca, they've conceded a goal in every single one of their last 6 games. And speaking about the history between these two sides, Mr. E was quite correct, but the last time they met in Group C, and at the Mohammed V Stadium, there was a draw, but here in South Africa, Mr. E, Mamelodi Sundowns managed to pick up all 3 points in the group by winning by 1-0. So do we look at that and reflect on this season and think to ourselves that maybe we might not see a good result in this game in the first leg, but when it comes to South Africa, when it comes to Pretoria, Mamelodi Sundowns will be doing the business there?
Yeah, I think what Rulani Mkwena would like to do right now is, I think you would rather play for a draw, because coming out with a win in
Mohammed Vincent.
In Morocco. Yeah, in Morocco, it's going to be a difficult order. So if they can come up with a draw and probably score. No, the away goals rule doesn't apply here. I think they should try and get a draw so that when they come to South Africa, probably at Loftus Stadium, they'll just finish them off. But it's going to be a tall order to try and stop the Moroccan team in tonight's match.
Right, that's where we're going to leave it with that one. But before we close this chapter, Mr. E, what's your prediction for this game?
Wydad win draw.
Wydad win draw. That's what Mr. E is going to go for. Thank you so much for watching so far. We're going to be going all the way through now to some local football. That is the DSTV Premiership. Stay tuned. And don't forget to check out our other football preview guide for those of you who are looking for predictions when it comes to the EPL. All right, we move on to talk about Orlando Pirates versus Sekhukhune United. Two teams who have just seen their fortunes in the Nedbank Cup go their way. And Orlando Pirates managed to see the Kaizer Chiefs out the door, and Sekhukhune on the other side managed to see Stellenbosch out the door. So both these teams smiling all the way to the Nedbank Bank. We're talking about two teams right now that have to take that fortune and that luck from a cup competition and now bring it to the DSTV Premiership. Mr. E, who do you think is going to be the key team when it comes to this match?
I think currently Orlando Pirates is oozing with confidence after winning finally winning the derby. Not the derby. Yes, okay. It was the semi-final, the derby against Kaizer Chiefs. But they're coming across a Sekhukhune team that has been doing very well. I mean, Brendan Truta has been sharpening up. Yeah, he's been exceptional in coaching the team. So it's going to be a double bill for Pirates, because they're going to meet, I think, in about 2 weeks' time in the Nedbank final. So yeah, Pirates seems to be doing very well of late. I think they've won the MTN 8 Cup, and now they're in they're jostling for the second position so that they can go and play in on the African continent. And yet again, if they manage to win this one, which is the Nedbank Cup, they will be able to go and play in the continent as well, while Sekhukhune plays in the Confederations Cup. Yeah, so things have been going very well for the Jose Rivero's side. The Sea Robbers have been doing very well, so we wait to see if they're going to be able to rob Sekhukhune of their glory this year.
Definitely the win probability might think so, because right now 62% in favor of Orlando Pirates, with 25% in favor of the draw and 13% in favor of the away win. That's Sekhukhune United. Look at both these teams' form. Orlando Pirates have not really done much wrong in their last 7 games. Only one draw, putting their current form at 93%. All of them, the rest of them have been wins. And on the other side, we look at Sekhukhune United with 71% current form, and they have 2 draws and 1 loss in their last 7 games. But when you talk about current streaks, Sekhukhune is not on any streak of any kind. But for Orlando Pirates, see the yellow.
Yeah.
So Orlando Pirates right now, they have scored in every one of their last 10 games. So that also is a big reflection on them getting goals. Do you think that they want to get a lot of goals in this one? If we're going to make a best slip, should we be looking at goals as well?
Yeah, definitely, because I noticed when they were playing against Kaizer Chiefs, there was a time whereby they varied their play. I think they changed their formation about 3 or 4 times in about 20 minutes. Yeah, you see, they've got a varying style of play. They can use the wingers. They can try and penetrate through the middle. So that is what has been helping them of late in getting the goals. So definitely we're going to be seeing goals coming through.
Right, so that's what Mr. A is going to be saying about that one. But Mr. A, before we close this chapter on this particular game, what is your thoughts about Sekhukhune United and their performance this season? Obviously, everybody looks at the Soweto Giants and the Pretoria teams to actually go on and do something amazing. But here's Sekhukhune United. They're now sitting in the finals of the Nedbank Cup, and not only that, securing space on the African continent. What are your thoughts about them this season?
I think they've done very well. Remember, they debuted the season about 2 years back.
Yeah,
and this is only their second year in the top flight, and already they are gunning for a silverware, of which the silverware is eluded Kaizer Chiefs for the past 8 or 9 years. But they've done very well, I think, and yet again, I think they are now pushing for the top 8. Yeah, they want to be in the top 8 so that they can qualify to play in the MTN 8 next year. I think they've done very well under the current circumstances.
All right, that's Mr. E's thoughts. So, Mr. E, finally give us your prediction before we wrap it up.
I'm going to go with Amapagania this time around.
He's going to go with Pagachuchu Pagania. You also can go place your bet. Just go to betfair.co.za, click the join now button. If you don't know where to find the link, check in the description below. We've got you with all the links, social media links, the website links, to join now, to play, to bet now. All of them are available down below. So make sure to click on one of the links and start betting today. Right, welcome back to the Diski Preview Show. We hope that you're enjoying yourself and also placing your bets all at the same time. If you're looking for more football tips, make sure to check out the Football Punters Guide that we posted just yesterday, and that will give you more of the good thoughts about what's going to be happening in the Premier League this weekend. As we go through the local football, we've covered CAF Champions League. We're moving on to the DSTV Premiership. Now it's time for us to take a flight and back to Mzansi once again for Supersports United versus Kaizer Chiefs. Now this is a battle taking place at the top of the South African table. I mean, these are two teams that, if we're being honest, could be, if any other time in history, could be contesting the title itself. But now they're contesting for second spot alongside Orlando Pirates. Mr. E, your thoughts about this particular game?
You know, Kaizer Chiefs is coming into this game after back-to-back losses to Orlando Pirates. I think the other loss was it Swallows. I'm not too sure, but they've already lost 2 games, and they are coming across a Supersport team that wants to, which is playing for second spot. I don't think Kaizer Chiefs will be able to garner enough points to finish second, because already they are 6 points behind Orlando Pirates at 44, while Orlando Pirates has got 50, meaning they have to win all their last 2 matches, while Pirates loses all the 2 matches. So I don't think that's going to happen. But I think it's going to be an opportunity for Kaizer Chiefs to bounce back to winning ways. I think they've had it was a bad time for them to lose form. So it's going to be a tricky tie when they come across Supersport that wants second. I know Kevin Hunt wants the second spot. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. Let's see how it pans out when they meet over the weekend.
Mr. E, current form right now for Supersports United is at 44%, 30% for the draw, and 26% for Kaizer Chiefs win. So is that a reflection on what happened in the Nedbank Cup to Kaizer Chiefs? Maybe is that why the odds are sitting in favor of Supersports United?
Yeah, definitely. They've had an almost total collapse of form over the past few games. I mean, like, they've lost 3 games and drew 1 over the past 7 matches. Which is not good. And we're sitting at 26% for a big team like Kaizer Chiefs. That's been struggling in front of goal. They've been struggling in their defense lines. So it's difficult to tell if they are going to win the game, where are the goals going to come from. If they are going to be able to defend, who's going to be who's going to be raise up his who's going to raise up his hand and say, I'm the one who's going to make sure that nobody scores here. So they haven't been doing very well of late. Hence the odds are saying otherwise in terms of them winning the match.
I mean, what's also amazing is that if you look at the league table at this moment in time, only 4 points between the two sides, because Supersports United sit in third on 48 points and Kaizer Chiefs sit on a fourth with 44 points. So they both need a win, either for one to open a gap or for one to close a gap. And Kaizer Chiefs will be hoping they pick up all 3 points to close that gap and secure third spot by the end of the season, at least maybe second spot. Yeah. But Mr. E, how did it all go so wrong so quickly? I mean, if you think about it, just 5 match days ago, we're looking at all these teams separated by just 2 points. Now we've got into a situation where Orlando Pirates have been able to secure themselves in second, and now we have Supersports who've dropped down a little bit, and Kaizer Chiefs look off the pace.
Yeah, so one thing that Pirates has done very well is that where possible they've managed to clinch all the 3 points. But if you look at the team like Kaizer Chiefs, they've gone on to lose games. Otherwise, they've gone on to lose games that they were supposed to win. And I think the last game also Supersport they drew. So looks like Orlando Pirates is opening that game. So that's why it's actually a tricky and important tie for these two teams, because if any of them loses, they are now out of the equation in the top 3 or the top 2. So definitely it's going to be a must win for Supersport and a must win for Kaizer Chiefs as well over the weekend.
Don't forget, after this there's only 2 games left. In fact, 1 game left.
Yeah,
of
1
the
game
season.
left. Yes.
So if it's not done today, it will never be done. So let's hope either one of the teams can pick up all 3 points. It also makes for great football. So Mr. E, your prediction finally?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Supersport United. I mean, I know Zwane has done very well at Kaizer Chiefs. I mean, I think his efforts are being underestimated. I mean, for the very first time in quite a lot of, in a very long time, they're actually fighting for second spot. We have known Kaizer Chiefs over the past few years to be a team that struggles to be in the top 8, top 4. But Zwane, with the youngsters that he's had, is now gunning for second spot. I think it's quite a progressive achievement. He can do better next year, but unfortunately I'll have to go with Supersport United, that's being coached by a much more experienced Kevin Hunt.
Mr. is going to go with that one right there. If you want to also place your bets, make sure to click on one of the links below. We have a link to help you join. We have a link for you to place your bets right now. And we also have a variety of products, including some casino games. We've got you with lottos, and we also have you with some football and sports. And make sure to visit betfair.co.za to go check that out. We are off, and we're going now to go check out some European. The Diski Preview Show, as you can see, we're all smiles and we're all laughs right now as we go in to have this conversation around Arsenal and Everton. Brighton, actually. Everton's playing Manchester City, sorry. You see, I've got the title race in my head. So Arsenal are going to be facing Brighton, a big game in any regard or any measurement of the imagination. It's going to be a big one, not only in the context of the title, but also in the context of what's happening with teams mid-table. Because both these sides also occupy a good position when it comes to where they're sitting in the league. For Brighton, they sit 7th in the league. They sit on 55 points, while Arsenal themselves sit on 81 points. To give you context of just how crucial this game is for both sides, I'm going to give you the point indication for both teams. Man City have 82 points, while Arsenal have 81 points. But get this, Man City have a game in hand. So one could look at it as a 4-point lead for Manchester City. And bearing in mind that Arsenal have fewer games to play, but Manchester City have that hiccup of having to play Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League. For Brighton, they are just behind Tottenham Hotspurs, who've been struggling of late. They're 2 points behind they're 2 points behind Tottenham Hotspurs, which means if they picked up all 3 points, they might see themselves leapfrog now into 6th position. And that could be the difference between the UEFA Conference League and the UEFA Europa League. For Liverpool, the difference between the Europa League and the Champions League is currently sitting at just 1 point. But unfortunately for Liverpool, like Arsenal, they have one game. They have the disadvantage of the teams above them having one game in hand. So those leads could be 4-point leads, or they could be 1-point lead. They're currently chasing Manchester United, who are sitting on 62 points. 63 points, and they're also chasing Newcastle United, who are sitting on 65 points. Liverpool at this point sit on 62. So that is just to set the tone for you. Brighton, if they pick up all 3 points, they could leapfrog Tottenham and get into the top 6. For Liverpool, if they pick up all 3 points, they could leapfrog both Newcastle and Manchester United, who both have a game in hand, and go into 3rd position. And many will forget, if that happens, many will forget how bad Liverpool's season was this time around. People will say, but they finished around, they finished around those good positions. People won't say, but they were struggling, you know what I mean? Because we always look at the final result. So let's focus back on the log leaders and this team sitting in 7th, which is Brighton, Hove, Albion. The team that is known as the Giant Slayers. They kill Manchester United this week. The next week they lose.
Big time, man. That's the beauty of football. That's the beauty of football, man. You can be a winner today and a dismal
big
loser next week,
So, Mr. E, what are your thoughts about this game? Very crucial for both sides. I mean, both of them concede in sight. I mean, for Arsenal, just 1 point. Just that 1 point, just to close that gap. And for Brighton, the same story.
Yeah, definitely. I think Arsenal did. Last week, the last game, they passed the Sten test when they went on to beat Newcastle, and in their home ground. I think I was worried about that one. At St. John's Park. Yeah, I was worried about that one there. But it looks like they're gonna come up against the Brighton side, which has been resurgent of late. I mean, like, they are now going toe to toe with Tottenham, as you mentioned, that if they win, they're going to leapfrog Tottenham. I mean, like, I didn't ever think. Did you ever think maybe Brighton will be fighting for a position with Tottenham, the likes of Tottenham and Liverpool? I think they've done so well of late. But Arsenal will need to keep up the pressure on Manchester City and avoid any slip up, because if they slip up on the remaining games, that will be the end of it. They might not be able to wrestle away the League Cup from Manchester City.
Right, so if you talk about the form right now, you're talking about the win probability first and foremost. 54% sitting in favour of Arsenal, or 23% in favour of Brighton, and just between them a 23% chance for a draw. It's like we're talking about weather there. And then when you look at form, you're looking at Brighton, Hove, Albion, who's sitting on 43% form. They've lost the non-important games, but they've won the important games. And in the last 5 games, they have 2 wins and 3 losses, which paints a picture not that many will want to know more details about, but I'll give you the details. The details are basically as follows for both these sides. Brighton managing to beat Manchester United and managing to beat Wolves, but they lost out to Nottingham Forest, and they also lost out to Everton, of all teams, 5-1, imagine. And then on the other side, Arsenal managed to beat Newcastle United away from home. They also beat Chelsea at home, and then the last time they did lose was a game against Manchester City. And I was talking to someone about this. I said, isn't it funny how this season alone, every time Arsenal have had 4 games before they have to play Manchester City, they lose all those games. And then they play Manchester City, and then they win all the games afterwards. So it's looking like that's going to be the case once again. But just to give you another big point, both these teams have scored a goal in their last 10 matches. And for Brighton, it's been a very big flurry of goals. They have 2 6 goal matches, they have 1 5 goal match, and they have 10 games that they've scored in succession. So, Mr. E,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, in terms of Arsenal season from now till the end of it, there's only 3 games left. It's Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and Wolves. Do you think they pick up maximum points and get all 9 points they need?
Yeah. It does look like they're going to pick up the last 9 points available, because my main worry was the game against Newcastle. I think it was the one of I think Newcastle is one of the top 4 teams currently on the log. So once they pass the game against Newcastle, it looks like it's going to be
a little bit.
at least relax a little bit. So it looks like they are set to pick up the maximum 9 points available before the end of the season, and definitely that's what they need to do right now, because any slip up, any draw or loss, anything besides
could be the end of it.
3 points for a specific match could be the end of it, because Manchester City has got one match in hand, as opposed to Arsenal, which has got 35. So definitely they need to make sure that they score and win all the remaining 3 games.
So now let's talk about Brighton Hove Albion. They still have a long season to go. They still have to play a couple of games. They have Arsenal next, which is the match we're talking about right now. But they play Newcastle, they play Southampton, and very interestingly, Brighton still have to play Manchester City, and that could be a title decider for this side.
Definitely.
So somebody was saying that Chelsea are going to stand a chance to decide the league title once again, because if you look at, and I was thinking to myself, isn't that a very interesting story? Because when you look at Chelsea's last few games of the season, they're going to face Arsenal, they're going to face Manchester City, but they're also going to face teams in and around the top 4. And the last time this was the case, this was back when Leicester City were chasing the title.
Yes.
And while they were chasing the title, Tottenham Hotspurs were the team that was right behind them.
Yes.
And remember who decided the title that season? The team who decided the title that season was Chelsea, when they faced, they faced Tottenham Hotspurs, and that goal from Eden Hazard was the goal that proved to be the difference in the title race. So for Chelsea's last few games, I just want to give you a reflection before we let you go for this one. Chelsea have Nottingham Forest, they have Manchester City, they have Man United, they have Newcastle United, they have Brighton, and they have Newcastle once again. That's going to be in the CFG. I'm not sure what that is, but that's basically in the Premier League. They've got Nottingham Forest, they've got Manchester City away, and then they also got Manchester United and Newcastle. It's going to be a very interesting
it's going to be a very interesting one, and looking at how Chelsea is playing, I doubt very much if they'll be able to win all those matches there. I mean, like playing against the top 4.
But the key ones, if they manage to get all 3 points against Manchester City, that changes the whole title.
That changes the whole title race in favor of Arsenal.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's going to be the big thing. I mean, that's what everyone's going to be watching out for. So, but to give you an idea of what Manchester City still have left on their plate, they have 4 legs left in the league, including a catch-up game against Brighton Hove Albion. Like I said, Brighton might be the team to decide the title this season alongside Chelsea. So it's Everton, it's Chelsea, it's Brighton, and it's Brentford. And the 2 teams I think will be the most difficult for Man City is Chelsea and Brighton.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not over until the fat lady sings. So
we need to go find her and ask her what time she's singing.
And ask her if her watch is correct as well.
All right, Mr. A, before we call it quits there with that guy, that game, what is your prediction?
I'm gonna go with the Gunners this time around. I think the Gunners will be able to pick up the maximum points, which is 3. All
right, Mr. A is going to go with Arsenal. If you also want to place your bet, don't forget to visit betfred.co.za, or alternatively, you can go to a Betfred branch. So we're going to continue with the next Premier League game. Don't forget, we started off with the CAF Champions League. We moved on to the DSTV Premiership. We also talked all things Premier League, and now we're going to talk about the Premier League again. Everton is facing Manchester City, and Mr. E, your thoughts about this game?
Yeah, I don't think this one is going to be a straightforward assignment for Pep Guardiola when he goes to I think it's the Goodison Park and to face Everton, because remember, Man City still has another eye on the game against Real Madrid. At the same time, I think it's quite a tough time. It's a tough time for Manchester City. They definitely have to beat Everton. Definitely they have to beat Real Madrid in order for them to go through to progress. Yeah,
and so already Jack Grealish, I mean, in the first 43 seconds of that match against Real Madrid, Jack Grealish was already on a knock, and then about 5 minutes later, there was Gundogan on a knock. He got another knock, and then you look at a game where even Kevin De Bruyne got a kick.
Yeah.
And now they're going to go face an Everton with Sean Dyche in there.
Yeah.
And what's Okaba?
Yeah, and when we talk about an Everton that blew away Brighton 5-1, I mean, they are on top of their song right now. So it's going to be a tricky one. But what I think Pep Guardiola is going to do because of injuries and so on, you'll want to refresh his first 11. So we might see him changing his first 11. Yeah. So and remember. The biggest game that he wants to win, as opposed to the one against Everton, is the one against Real Madrid that's coming in about a week's time, I think. Yeah, definitely.
It's a title that he never won, and they're going to be playing this game on the 17th of May, which is next week Wednesday.
Yeah.
But it's a title he's never won. It's a title he's always wanted, and that's the title he's always wanted outside of Barcelona, because the last time he won it was with Barcelona, and ever since then everybody's been saying he can't do it without Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
So a lot to be desired from him, especially in terms of getting the result in this game. Now I'm looking at the possible lineup. Don't forget, we're looking at this game well in advance, and what you'll see is that they got all the big names in there. Phil Foden apparently might make an appearance. Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez might make a return, interestingly. John Stones still playing in the centre defensive midfield role alongside Rodri, and we might see a back three of Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, and Emerick Laporte with Edison at the back. Now, one thing that it does paint a picture of, Man City is a very old side. They average age is 28.4 from the lineup I just gave you right now. So it does show that all these players might still not have a good chance to do this once again, especially for the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, who are not juniors anymore. Kevin De Bruyne is already way off age. He's currently in 31 years old, and he might be looking to move on from Manchester City to go play his football somewhere else.
So it looks like, I mean, as you are saying, that age is not on the side of Manchester City. I think the best thing that they can do right now is to try and focus mainly on the game against Real Madrid. And remember, even if they drew that side in Madrid, it's not going to be an easy game for them when they meet again in Manchester in about 5 days' time. So and it's going to be there might not be any other chance for most of the guys who are currently playing. Even Pep Guardiola may say we might not advance this far in the competition. So this is one competition that you will want to win by all means necessary.
Yeah, that's going to be a very big one. And Mr. E, that's where we want to leave it for now. I just want to know, before we go into the prediction of this game, from Everton's perspective, do you see them having any chance under the sun of winning this game?
Yeah, they'll fancy their chances. I mean, they've managed to beat what team was that? Brighton 5-1.
Of course,
it means that they're a team that's capable of scoring. Even if their win probability is at 12%, it's simply because maybe Manchester City has been.
Manchester City.
Yeah, it has had a better run of luck over the past 7 games or so. But playing at home again, they might try and use their home advantage and try and stop the likes of Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne, and maybe by chance come up with a draw.
Yeah. Manchester City have managed to score a goal in every one of their single last 10 games, and the next few games are going to be very interesting for Manchester City, because after they face Everton, they have to go face Real Madrid for a second time. Then they have Chelsea that weekend, and then after that they have Brighton. And if they do make it to the final of the UEFA Champions League, Brighton, Brentford, and Man United will be the games they play before they go play the final. So maybe they might have the same end to the season like Liverpool did last season, where Liverpool had all these games to play, and at the end of the day they won nothing. When you think about it, they won the FA Cup, they won the Carabao Cup, and they didn't win the Champions League, although they were in the final, and they also didn't win the league, although they were sitting top at some point.
It's possible, because I'm looking at the games that Man City still has to play. I mean, like
it's a lot to ask for.
That's a lot to ask for. I mean, a lot of energy is going to be lost in fulfilling those fixtures there, as opposed to Arsenal. I think it's only a few games, and it's
3.
not only 3 games. It's not big teams that you. I mean, that it's a must win for them. I mean, like there's Wolves also is there. It's not gonna be as difficult as it is as compared to Man City.
Let me ask you the question right now, Mr. because everybody's thinking about it. Do you think that Manchester City will go on to win the treble?
I'll tell you my honest truth.
And bear in mind that last season the conversation was Liverpool could win the quadruple.
Yeah.
At this point of the season, it was Liverpool could win the quadruple because at that point they'd already won the Carabao Cup. They were in the final of the FA Cup. They were in the final of the UEFA Champions League, and they were also playing towards getting into the number one spot in the league. So, do you think that Manchester City can win the treble?
I'm looking at the fixtures and that are left right now for Manchester City. I think it's quite hectic. They might slip up somewhere along the line there. Arsenal stands a better chance of winning this the league as opposed to Manchester City. Looking at their engagements in the UEFA Cup, and we're looking at the big teams that they still have to play. Chelsea. You know, when you're playing against Chelsea, it's not 3 points in the bag for you up until the 90 minutes is over. You know, even Brighton as well. They're still to play Brighton. It's not going to be easy. For Pep Guardiola, you just have to show character and make sure that he is focused in all the remaining games that he has to play with this team.
The Betfred promise is value for money, friendly service and fast payments. When you choose to bet, Betfred.